So for Chapter 9, we were to look at the decision-making process. So, explain the decision-making process. Basically, there are a number of steps when it comes to the decision-making process and how to make like an actual decision on different things that you need, different problems. So the first step that you have to take is actually understanding the situation. You need to make sure you have as much information about everything that you possibly can, because obviously there's a problem. Depending on the situation, you could have something where you need both sides, both opinions, both sides of the story and stuff like that. Next, you need to define what the problem actually is. This is big because if you don't actually truly know what the problem is, you can't actually fix it. Next, you want to sort of define your objectives and start to diagnose the problem. Basically, this is like sort of understanding what needs to be done to effectively fix the problem that's at hand. You need to develop alternatives, so a different strategy in order to fix what's happening. And then you need to eventually evaluate and choose the best one when you are choosing which alternative you want and how you're going to fix it. And then lastly, you need to be able to implement sort of that alternative, that problem, and fix whatever, something like that. Another big thing is you need to monitor it once you're done with the decision. Because when you make a decision like something that's very big for your company, you need to monitor it and make sure that that decision is right based off of all the information that you have. Gather as much information as you can before you make your decision, and then once you do it, you watch it and see how well your decision is actually going. There can be multiple ways. This can be decisions that need to be made, whether it's economically, you need to cut costs, or maybe there's a problem within your business for your employees. Whatever it is, you need to make sure that you have as much information as you possibly can. Compare the classical approach versus the administrative approach. So the classical approach for decision making is based off of rational economic assumptions and manager beliefs about what ideal decision making should be. This is basically how a decision should be made. So you gather, this is like in a perfect world, you have all the information that you need. The manager does everything that he can to make the proper decision, not on his own personal opinion. It's the decision that's best for the company. You have your criteria that you need to do, and you base all of your decisions and your results off of all the information that you have. You want to use as much logic and rationale as you can. For administrative decision-making, this is the use of rational decision-making process within the limits of human and environmental factors. This is basically how it actually happens, because it's not always a perfect world. People are limited to the decisions that they make, based off of, maybe they aren't fully as educated as someone else could be, so that could limit them. Or maybe they don't have access to all the information that they truly need to make this decision. Basically, that's what that's all about. The styles of a manager can, sort of affect, how they're going to make an actual decision. Managers are going to have different styles, and that can play a big role in how a decision is going to be made and the decision-making process. Even with extensive information, managers can still make bad decisions. There are a number of ways that managers can actually make bad decisions. One of the big ones is like personal bias or personal belief. Sometimes they think they know better, or maybe they can get a little bit of personal gain, or it takes time out of their way, extra stuff that they just don't want to do. So they have personal bias, personal opinions that come along the way. That's a big one. Initial impressions. Sometimes you get initial impression that can sort of make you think a certain way. That can be big too. Sometimes you get you're not seeing what you want to see, so you make a decision based off of that. And sometimes, managers put too much value in certain elements within your business, and it's not 100% what is like best for the company. They think that it's the best, but again, sometimes it's not always, and that can come down to not being fully educated, something like that. Overconfident. Sometimes you really think this is going to work, and you ignore some of the warning signs, and you still make that decision because your gut feeling, and maybe it's not the best. Or sometimes you have emotions that come into play, anger, sadness, stuff like that. Sort of goes along the lines of, don't drive when you're angry, because that's when you're susceptible to making more mistakes. Same sort of thing. You don't want to make decisions, very important decisions, when you are feeling those types of emotions.